Hi everyone, I'm back with a new PfMP scenario. This is related to portfolio risk management. On the look of it, nothing really comprehensive, nothing really difficult. The scenario is saying that within the context of portfolio management, the primary objective of portfolio risk management is A, to sum up all of the individual component risk, B, to align to the organizational risk tolerance, C, to prioritize portfolio components, and D, to minimize the negative risk and maximize the positive risk of the overall portfolio. So this question is actually asking about the objective of risk management area in portfolio management. Every area has a purpose in portfolio management. Same is the case with performance domain, same is the case with governance domain and strategy domain. Also, similar situation is with portfolio risk management. So, if you don't understand this scenario, you probably would not understand the right context of doing risk management in portfolio. So when I posted this question on my regular Thursday poll, I got most of the choices in option D, and I was expecting the same. When I was posting this question, I knew that this is going to happen. So around 67% of the audience who went for the selection, they opted for option D. D is the wrong answer. D is not the objective of portfolio risk management. D is the objective of project risk management. Let me help you understand one by one. So, starting off with A, summation of all the individual component risks. This is exactly what the portfolio risk management or program risk management is not. So it's like not like 2 plus 2 equivalent to 4. So if there are 100 risks in any project, in multiple projects within the portfolio, then those 100 combined together would make the portfolio risk. No, this is not how we see the risk management at a level above than project. So the truth is, a program, a portfolio, or even a sub-program and a sub-portfolio as well, would have their own risk management, would have their own risk management planning, would have their own risk register, would have their own risk. So the program level risks are not those which is like a cumulation of the respective interrelated projects risk. And same is the case with portfolio as well. That portfolio risk is not a cumulation or summation of different project and program risk under that portfolio. This is not how we see it, because portfolio has its own level in any organization, would have its own priorities, would have its own challenges, would have its own tolerance with respect to organizational risk appetite and tolerance. And in alignment to that, you will do the risk management at the portfolio level. If portfolio risk register is representing the summation of the different project risk register or program risk register in their portfolio, then what's the big deal about it? Or what value addition the portfolio risk management is really doing in that case? Nothing. Or in other words, what's the project or program risk managers are doing really, if they just have forwarded all the risk to portfolio level? Right? This is how we see it. So the project risk should be dealt at the project level. Program risk should be dealt at the program level. And portfolio would have its own challenges, would have its own threats and opportunities and own escalations and things. That's what we documented in the portfolio risk register. So it's not A. B, aligned to the organization's risk tolerance. This is exactly the purpose of portfolio risk management. you start a portfolio to fulfill a vision which is in alignment to the organizational vision, to fulfill some objectives, strategic objectives, which is in alignment to the organizational strategic objective. And while doing that, you may come across some risk. So the organization is willing to start and continue and optimize that portfolio in alignment to its organizational tolerance, which is represented by risk attitudes. If the organizational risk attitude is averse, then most likely they are not willing to take too much risk on that portfolio. On the other hand, if the organizational risk attitude, which is a representation of risk tolerance of that organization, is risk seeker or taker attitude, then they probably would be willing to take too much risk on that portfolio in the form of budgets, in the form of schedules, in the form of new initiatives, priorities, resources, and so many things. Like this is exactly how we do it in the organization. I'm not really saying bookish things. This is exactly how it happens at the more strategic and senior management level. This is exactly the conversation that they do every other day. And if the organization's risk appetite and attitude changes towards the portfolio, then accordingly their risk management strategy and accordingly their prioritization and initiative taking and budget allocation and every other thing is going to change. Anyways, this is a bigger conversation. So the right answer to this question is B. You have to keep it directly proportional to organization's risk tolerance or organizational willingness to absorb the risk on that portfolio. Right? And everything, risk management planning, risk registers, identification, assessment, prioritization, implementation, reserves, contingency management, everything is going to be a direct proportionality to optionable. Trust me, this is exactly how it happens in portfolios and programs. So the right way of saying it is, the other way of saying it is, the primary objective of portfolio risk management is to balance out the risk for that portfolio in alignment to the organizational risk. So yes, why option D is wrong is exactly why option B is correct. Because in portfolio or for the same reason in programs, unlike project, not every time we are minimizing the threats and maximizing the opportunities. In case of projects, yes, we do have that luxury because the project scope of work or boundary of work is limited, but portfolios boundary is way extensive and it depends on the scale of the portfolio. So not every time in every risk is going to be appreciated or accepted or exploited if it is in the form of an opportunity at times due to the optimization or the organizational reasons. Even an opportunity has to be turned down for good reasons to balance out the risk on some other component in the portfolio because you are dealing with multiple portfolio components, not just one component, unlike projects. So yes, minimizing the negative risk and maximizing the positive risk is the project risk management objective. There you should be exactly doing this. Ideally, in case of portfolio risk management, you should be trying that out as well, but nothing is ideal in the practical world. You have to be realistic rather idealistic. So the more practical approach is B, where the concept of balancing, where at times acceptance is a better strategy in case of portfolio for good reasons, rather mitigation, right? Or turning down an offer or an opportunity is a better thing to do, which is at times terms as opportunity cost as well, then accepting it. And organization is okay to turn down that offer because they know this concept that not every time every opportunity should be accept it. Or not every time, every opportunity is going to bring long-term benefits, right? And same is the case with threats as well. At times, some threats are not mitigated to that level that maybe as a project manager, you would think it should have been done. For some reason of, um, you know, balancing concept that maybe taking the risk on this component probably would benefit the overall portfolio in a good way. So this is exactly how we see the concept of balancing, that accepting risk, mitigating risk, exploiting, enhancing, and a mix of that overall should balance out the concept of portfolio optimization. Right? Of course, the objective of portfolio risk management is not to prioritize component. This is not how we do prioritization in portfolios. We do prioritization via evaluation criteria and multiple other techniques. Yes, risk factors could be some of those evaluation criteria, but this is like not the ultimate purpose. And I've already explained why D is not the right answer. So B is the correct answer. I hope you like this explanation and keep this in consideration that risk appetite, risk attitude, risk threshold, and tolerances are very, very important in portfolio management. Right? I will be back very soon with a new PfMP scenario. Till then, take care. Goodbye.